Good afternoon and welcome to the weekly Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms live stream. My name is Dylan Wilks and I am your host for the first of our streams about Strix. I'll get more into that in a moment, but first I would like to thank First I would like to thank Wizards of the Coast and Dungeons and Dragons for hosting us on the official D&D Twitch. So now back to the stream about Strix. We'll start with the Q&A today, but we'll wrap it up a little bit sooner than usual to make way for the first of our two guests for today's show. The first guest, coming up in about 25 minutes, is none other than Alexis Thoreau, who is one of our senior artists here at Codename Entertainment, and who worked closely with Holly Conrad to animate Strix and draw them, and draw Strix, and yeah, all things Strix. And then our second guest is our first repeat artist guest, Kat, also known as Art Monkey on every social platform, our resident portrait specialist who drew all of Strix's snickety snooks, her items, her icons, all that stuff. So she'll be joining us in about an hour. And then we'll also do a little bit of live drawing and stuff as well. Just kind of, it's the art stream. It's rounding out an art stream about Strix. So, what else? Well, it's Thursday. So, of course, that means that it's Trapped in a Birdcage Day. It is Waffle Talk Day, it is Critical Role Day, and it is Idle Champions Livestream Day. So here we are, kicking off the kick-ass Thursday lineup, and basically you just never have to turn off your stream all day and night. You just watch it all the way through. Just eyes glued, never stop. It's okay, Garwar. It's okay to be 1 minute late. And some other welcomes too. Welcome Obo Crazy, Baron Stromgard, Niall Sustanet, King Grail, Ted Faster, Arkin Sunseeker, Daylight Asunder. I know I saw Silisa in there. Of course, I am also joined by our very own community manager, Erica, who is currently running the Codename Entertainment Twitch account. Hello, Uzao, Clay DK. And Commander Holly, welcome. Hey, cool. You're always here. Of course you are. So I guess I'll switch over to the game view, and then we can get into the Q&A part before the artists start. So, I should totally close that. I should close this. Yeah. And where are we at? Okay, finishing the Lost Heir of Omu. Sweet action. So what do we have for questions? We covered a crazy amount lately, but most questions have been related to when is Strix out. So Strix is coming out in the game next week during our next event. Pancake talk, Riz? Yeah, I mean, I think maybe waffles might be more appropriate. We're waffle fans here. I don't know if you saw on Twitter the photo of Strix's staff sitting on some waffles that looked really delicious. But we saw that and it immediately made us hungry. Strix is unlockable starting next week. We have an event that is going to launch. I don't want to give an exact time because maybe it'll get pushed, but we're aiming for midweek. And then, and then all players will be able to unlock the mighty Strix. We're crazy stoked about it. It's been an interesting set of challenges for us as we were more ambitious in our champion design this time around than perhaps we have been before. Strix's ultimate ability, I'll let Alexis talk about it when she gets here, but it's a little bit more ultimate than other ones have been so far. We're pretty stoked to see how that turns out. The animations look great. I can't wait for people to be able to start seeing them. Hi, Locathia. Letters, Blubbertron. Stay hydrated bot. There's a stay hydrated bot? That's wonderful. On that note. So, let's get into some of these questions because we have a few things pending and 20-ish minutes to cover a lot of them. So. First, we were getting some feedback from players about the fact that yesterday's update, the Tomb of Annihilation Part 4, is mostly content for the top couple % of players. And it is at the moment, but everyone will eventually get there. It's the difficulty curve for the campaigns is going to steadily increase, and I know that on the Discord there were some players talking about how they had already completed all of the content, which was impressive, and just impressive. So, you know, it's maybe we need to make it more difficult. Picator, it's not that it's always about the 1%ers so much as we want to make sure that there is always more content for people to play through. So, you know, those players that are on the cutting edge are always going to be on the cutting edge, but you got to give them something to do. So you got to just keep grinding. You'll get there. I mean, you know, it's not like you have to sit there the whole time and do it. You can just let it run. Oh, excuse me. What's next? Question from Baron Stromgard. Can you confirm that Strix will still swap with one of the slots that doesn't currently have a swap? For example, Bruner, Minsk, or Jamila. Based on what you said earlier this month on Reddit. That is the intent. I'm not saying that I want to walk that statement back because that's what we're hoping for. But I know that, you know, until she actually hits live, you know, nothing is guaranteed. So the last I checked, yes. So I hope that's not too much of a shitty answer, Baron Stromgard, but that's what I got. Blubbertron, can you give us any hint of what clicking changes were being planned? So that was mentioned in our latest changelog and at the bottom of our blog post. Although, did I save that update? I can't remember. Yes, there is something. It's I can't spoil that feature in advance. All I can say is that it is coming very soon. Very soon. Let's see. Letters, number, letters. Birdsong's tempo of battle / tempo of victory seems to continue their countdown during area transitions and dialogue, which is a bummer. Is that intended? I don't know if that's intended. I will pass that along and see if that is a bug. The duck again question. Statistics. Yes. Yes, we are acutely aware that there are quite a few statistics that we are not showing off to players, and yeah, we need to find ways to put them into our UI. But that's on a greater list of things to do, and I don't know when we're going to get to it. But yes, more statistics eventually. Ted Faster. So are cannons canon in RF? I'm assuming you meant Forgotten Realms. From my understanding, there are cannons, but there's no such thing as gunpowder in the Forgotten Realms. It's like, I want to say it's smoke powder is what it's called, and it's an extremely rare thing. For some reason, some pirates have it, but almost nobody else anywhere does ever. So we're not adding guns to the game. You know, it's just that pirates have cannons. What can I say? I mean, can you imagine a pirate without cannons? I mean, it's like such an important, integral part of pirate identity. I don't even know what else to add. Niall Sestenet, is there some sort of long-term reward for these new adventures you are adding? I can't be bothered for 100 gems. Well, you do need to have completed adventures and variants in order to unlock further ones. So the long-term reward, in addition to getting your Steam achievements and unlocking later adventures, is that you've already completed them. So yeah. Although we hear you about the 100 gems thing. It's a conversation that comes up a lot for us. You know, I don't know what a solution to that is going to look like. Just to say that you know, we are aware that sometimes the rewards seem very lackluster, especially considering the difficulty of some of the variants. Letters, number, letters. Quality of life request. When I restart the game, could it remember what setting I was on for upgrades? Not switching back to 1x every time. Yes, and also it doesn't always remember auto progress. It doesn't always remember force 16:9 if you use that in the settings menu to force the ratio. So there's a few of these things that we're aware of, and they're on our list. Yeah. Garwar, not all pirates had cannons. No, of course not. Many don't, but these ones did. I don't know. Justin wrote this. The next time he's on, just give it to him for adding pirates with guns. Thantanos, hello. Whisper Wind Janus, Lucas 106mm, King Grail, Yinzer. Welcome everybody. Welcome to the stream. Okay, Geosphere Music. I like things like the Lost in the Deep scenario, where there's actual changes to your play and you have to rethink your default formations. Will there be more? Yes. Kidoriel, you look tired, Dylan. You okay? I am tired, and I'm sorry that that looks that way, but I don't make up my face, and there's a lot of lights on it. Also, we kind of blew up our setup first thing, and by we, I mean nobody. We just went back to the stream computer, and it wasn't working properly, and I spent, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes getting everything fixed today. And oh, Jamila's. Oh, this adventure's done. So I was tweaking the cameras, and they're not quite right, and so like they're accentuating the bags under my eyes as well. So there's also that. Yay! But yeah, thanks for telling me I look tired, Kidoriel. I appreciate it. Let's just complete this and go back in, pick another one. I'll let you guys pick which adventure I do next. Silisa. Can we see additional rewards for distractions like gems or chest drops at a low drop rate? That's an interesting idea, Silisa. I'm going to pass that along. I know that the intent is to include more distractions at some point, so you know, we could certainly look at other kinds of rewards as well. So I have some very difficult variants remaining, chat. So which one would you like me to start? It's either anti-dexterous explorers or not very charming. So yeah, it's the low dex mission or the low charisma mission. So just let me know which one you want me to do. Lucas 106mm. Will Strix's character be a weaker character than the others at her slot and be a suboptimal spot? I believe in Discord they were calling it subwaftimal. I'm pretty sure the intent is for Strix to be competitive in her slot. You know, but how she's suboptimal or subwaftimal, well, we'll just have to wait and see. I know that her ultimate is sometimes absolutely incredible and other times less so. So that might be the the other part. So I can't really spoil too much about that. So I'll just have to. Algorithms. Hey Dylan, I've been coming across quests that register as green easy, but I definitely can't beat them. Usually hitting a wall 3/4 of the way through. Why is this so? Basically, it's because the way that we have set up our difficulty settings does not take everything into account. And it's on our list of things to make an adjustment to. I'm just gonna browse this chat to see what's the consensus on which one of these missions am I doing? Low dex? Low dex. It looks like the anti-dex. Okay. Does that one suck? Is that why people are telling me to do it? Alright, 225. I am not going to finish this during the stream. Loading user. Oh, you better load. Queen Lily 272. Any tips for new players? Oh, that is a monstrous question. Join and get involved in our Discord. The address is discord.gg/idlechampions. There are people who know 10 times more about the game than me in that channel, and I'm not just talking about Dave lurking in the channel. There are quite a few players who just learn and think about the game inside and out in ways and can answer questions with more detail based on available facts than I can about a lot of aspects of the game, like what the most optimal formations are and a bunch of other things. Oh my god. Oh, that's good. Oh, no, none of them. Okay. Huh. All right, this is going to be an interesting one. Yeah, so join the Discord, get involved. It's a great way to just connect with other players, but also like there are player resources in there. Players like to share chess codes in there. You can get formation information. You can get detailed gameplay information. There's a wonderful community FAQ that's been put together by one of our community leaders, Archimedes, along with help from quite a few members of the community. So that's where I'd say start. If Discord's not your speed, that's totally cool. The subreddit has a lot of resources on it as well as the Steam forum. So that's what I would recommend for the new players. Is there's a lot of different directions you can take this in, but there is a lot of well thought out, well put together stuff in there. So I would recommend that. Was it Queen Queen Lily 272. So yeah. Geosphere music. Can we ever get older character chests, perhaps for more gems, like 750 for a gold Regis chest? I don't. On the subject of event champions that are not currently available because their event isn't running, I know that we are looking at introducing other ways to both unlock and gear up champions. And I don't know if the shape that's going to take is going to include just straight up their older chests or something else. And so you'll have to wait for what will likely be a dev blog about that feature sometime down the line. Yeah, but it's at the forefront of our consciousness, especially since you know, I mean, we have Strix coming out next week as part of an event, and we want it to be possible for her to be unlocked outside of events. So this has moved up our priority queue somewhat. That's basically all I can share about that right now. Dameron Silverblade. Hey Dylan. Lately events and new champions came quite quickly, not leaving much time in between to catch up to content, especially for newer average players who are not established on gear and favor. Is this going to be the general progression by now, or are there going to be longer breaks in between? This isn't something, our cadence isn't 100% set. Yes, there's an event starting next week, but I believe there is a decent break after that, which is to say there will be more content released, but I think it's in the form of more variants as opposed to more campaign adventures. I'm not 100% clear on it. I know that we don't put out a solid roadmap for everybody to check out to see where everything is. So I hear you. We hear you. And we'll keep that in mind. But yeah, it's this past month has been a little bit more frantic. It seems like. Letters. Enjoying the dialogue in the first new adventure that was released yesterday. Yay for including Ashara in dialogue. Particularly enjoying Bruner this time. A little more dwarf accent, I guess. Thanks to the writers. I believe that would be Justin and Scott Fitzgerald Gray who did the writing and design on this one. But I could be mistaken, and I'm sure Erica will let me know. But I'm pretty sure this one was Scott and Justin. Downane. Why does Zorbu's dex bonus not affect Zorbu? That's a great question that I don't have an answer for because it's a Justin question, because Justin designed all the champions. So I'll just make a note and pass that one along. Thantanos. Can one of the CEOs press the button that releases the Steam cards, pretty please? Yeah, I'll pass the feedback along. I know that we have them, that we want them. Bob Swami, is this the final art for Bob Swami for what? Was there more to that question? If you're referring to the game, yeah, I mean, this is the game. I'm not sure how to take that one, but thanks. Back at you, 00. Dylan, will Holly Conrad be on the stream next week? We love Strix. I believe we're planning to have her on at some point, but I can't remember if it's next week or if it's the week after that. Holly, you're in chat. What's your schedule like? Would next Thursday at about this time work for you, or would the one after that work better? Because I don't have our plans open. Yeah, I could have sworn that it was 2 weeks from now once the event is actually active, as opposed to next week, but it could be next week. I don't think it's both, but at some point, yes, because yeah, it's Holly's Strix. We gotta have these Strix on the show to talk about these Strix. So yeah. All right. Next question. Daylight Asunder. Oh, it's a suggestion. Super upgrade button like UPG, but clicked as many times as you have money for. Very tedious to level up after a reset. I hear you. We've been throwing around ideas, and one of the ones that has come up has been like purchase all upgrades, so that it upgrades you as far as you can on the money that you have, and so like it purchases as high as you can, including getting the last upgrade possible. I don't know if or when we're going to do that, but the idea has been thrown around. So yeah, I'll just make a note about that and pass it along. I didn't see who won the raffle. Who was it? Tom Ribbons? Good for you. Congratulations. Way to go. Yeah, it's so hard to read chat when raffle explodes it. Were people saying things? Yeah, I can't tell. I just can't tell. So yeah, there's that. Oh, raffles. Dun, dun, dun. So yeah, what else? Let me think. Event starts next week. Oh, we're gonna show you the creation of the Strix art in about 10 minutes. I'm pretty stoked about that because it's really fun. Oh, here we go. Here are the questions. Skullcap70, what is all this exclamation raffle? So we do giveaways periodically throughout our stream, and when one is active, if you type in exclamation raffle, you can enter. Typing in more than once doesn't do anything. Yeah, that's really it. And then we give away things like DLC for the game. Dracunan, was Deacon Scalesinger the most requested new character in the poll? That's a very good question. I don't know who the most requested character in the poll was because I have not at all looked at that data. I suspect Deacon is up there, being a popular character, a character that we like. Yeah, I haven't looked at the data. I'll make a note because I'm curious myself. I don't know if we'll pass that all the information along, but we're definitely very curious. All right. Cranky Frank, is 10 likely the most formation champions, or the most champions we will see allowed in a formation? We do not have a finalized number. Certainly we have not done more than 10 so far, but that can change. So we'll see. Liu Tanra, where can I use the stream code? I'm glad you asked that. Because it's an excuse for me to use the stream code, because it's right now. This week it's Tomb4 loot code. You go into your shop, and there's a redeem a code here. Boom. And that's how you get it. And then it just gives you a gold chest card, which gives you a gold chest, and then you open your chest. So good luck. I hope, Leo Tanra, that you get something rad. Alrighty, let's see. What's next? Somebody asking about the completing events. They are somewhat difficult. But as Silisa proved recently, a brand new player to the game can complete not just an event, but every achievement and objective in it. So they're doable, but it's a fine line. Like, we balance it, or at least it is intended to be balanced in such a way that it is a challenge for a new player to complete it, but you should still be able to. But yes, it's definitely, I wouldn't describe them as super easy unless you're very well invested into the game already in terms of how much gear you have and such. Oh, excuse me. Oh, at least Delana I can bring in. Yeah, Delana formation. I can't remember. Does Jamila have low dex? I think she does. What kind of? Maybe I should go with an int formation, since I have Dadius in here. Vengeance, duh. War domain, of course, domain, war domain. Battlemaster. Okay. Yeah, no bird song, no dritz. Oh, Makos though, sweet. Yeah, casters it is, I guess. So does that mean I want to do Tiefling, Firbolg, Dragonborn? Or Elves and Dwarves? Or Humans? Maybe I'll just leave it for a bit. Alright. Scourge of Neltoth. What's the weird E stuff in the golden damage on the top left? I use scientific notation for my gameplay. Just out of preference. It's easier for me to look at it quickly and see how much I can upgrade each character based on the amount of money that I have. And that's just a setting in here, so blop. So if I go back, it's back to the regular. Not a fan though. Not a fan. Scientific notation all the way. Although we've had requests for engineers notation, we might get around to doing that at some point. Ginge Inc. Are there any plans for acquisitions incorporated members to join the game? the long and the short of bringing characters into the game is that it is very much a situation where like these this sounds corny, but like the stars need to align in order to bring characters into the game that are not already owned by Wizards of the Coast, Dungeons and Dragons. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes to make those kinds of things possible. So are there any, I'm not really able to discuss any plans, but I can say that like we would love to include more popular characters. But you know, we're also like, we are so grateful and so lucky that that Holly has been so wonderful to work with so far with Strix, and that you know, like, and that Joe was so stoked to be on board and to include Archon in the game back when we launched. So you know, that's awesome, and we're hoping that awesomeness continues. The next question: letters, numbers, letters. Why were so many of the options in the poll human? Because D&D is mostly human. So the Sword Coast is, and Faerun is like, it's predominantly human population. So that's kind of part of it. Like most of the characters are human. But yeah, that said, you know, diversity is something that interests us and that we care about, and so we are aiming to be as diverse as we are able to, given, you know, the setting for the game. Also, I mean, let's be honest, like when you roll a D&D character, how many people here use variant humans, which are horrifically overpowered by starting with a feat? They're so good. Or just one to each stat is even still pretty solid. I mean, humans are awesome in D&D, so there's also that. Starak, 112 silver chests hanging out. Any particular reason? Is that what I'm at now? I've been selecting, I don't use them very often. Yeah, 112. I like to open them in large batches. Really. That's it. I wait and I open them in batches. Yeah. The Project Mangler. Nice. Many clicker idle games have rewards for total gamer sets that add huge power gains. Any plans to add something like this into the game? You mean like Divine Favor? Or are you referring to something else? Because I mean, we have rewards. You get more powerful, and then on top of that, you spend your Divine Favor on blessings that also increase your power and your ability to push further. So, yeah, I'm not sure if you're referring to something radically different or just something similar. Whisperwind Janus, are you ever planning to go a level above Epic Purple on loot, Legendary, Mythic, etc.? We reserve the right to possibly invent new rarities at some point in the future. But we, yeah, nothing planning or pending or immediately happening. Geosphere Music, will events ever replay the exact same event? I don't think that we've definitively said anything about that, except to say that like we do intend to repeat at least some of our events, not necessarily all of them. Now the shape that takes isn't set yet, because obviously we have until September before we start possibly repeating events. So yeah, I can't really say definitively. I can't give you an answer that is an answer that's real. So we'll just have to wait and see on that one. Scourge of Neltoth. Is there a way to change the order in which the heroes come out? I'm getting bored of having the same ones every time. Well, the biggest thing that you can do is earn enough favor that you are able to purchase, you know, 5 or 6 characters from the first enemy or 2 killed. Because then you're able to start messing with your formation right from the get-go instead of having to wait longer periods of time to unlock each character. But in terms of being able to change the order, like the slot order that the champions sit in, there isn't a way to do that. Blubbertron again. Question regarding the poll. Some of the questions asked about what other games the players are into. Are you guys considering expanding into genres beyond Idle and Clicker? So actually, the poll isn't necessarily from us so much as it is from us and Wizards of the Coast. It was just questions that we're all interested in. But I don't really have anything to share about it yet. And I'm not even clear personally on all of it myself. So, you know, I think if I were to guess, just hazarding a guess, this is not an official thing. I think they're just trying to get more information about what our players are interested in. Trying to learn more about our audience. Man hugs. Sorry, I'm waving through the window and gesturing for Alexis to come in because our first guest is joining us, and I will even turn on her microphone when she sits down. Just slide on over when you're ready and pull this thing up reasonably close. So I'm just gonna switch this over, and this is Alexis.
Hello.
You're gonna need to put on headphones.
I suppose that would help.
Yeah, and then shove this in your face. Not like right in your face, but you know, close enough that you can talk into it.
I have trouble with these headphones.
Yeah, and then I will adjust the sensitivity until it comes in clear for you.
Okay, good.
No, keep talking. I can't hear you.
Oh. Hi, I'm Alexis. I'm one of the senior artists here at Codename.
Sweet.
And I draw stuff.
Yeah, cool. And then what I can do is I'm going to burn through some of these questions in a bit, probably at the end, because there's a bunch more that we didn't get to. But I am going to start this. And then I'll just... because this is the thing. Adam put this together for you.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, in the background. This is a time lapse of Alexis drawing Strix from scratch with a nice piece of reference art there in the form of, I think that's a picture from Holly's Instagram. Is it from her Instagram?
Yeah, I think so. She sent it in the email, but yeah, she had great reference material for the characters. And off screen, I also have like other pictures up, but that was the one that I wanted closest.
Yeah, and can you so why is there a Makos and a Calliope there?
To make sure that it is in line with the other characters, so it has similar line width and like same style and stuff. Adam drew most of the original champions, and I did Zorbu and Birdsong, so I'm still kind of like making I really have to be careful to make sure that the style's in line. Yeah.
So obviously with Zorbu you're doing an original character.
Yeah.
So how is doing one that's completely original from doing one that's a piece of reference art here?
Well, they're both kind of like a little nerve-wracking in different ways. Like with an original one, it's like, oh, you want it to look visually interesting and have some sort of personality to it. And then with like someone's existing character, you want to do it justice and make sure that it, lives up to the character. So hopefully I accomplished that. But I'm personally really happy with how it turned out, and it was such a fun character to draw. And like all the pieces are really neat, and all of Holly's little details that she's put into it made it a lot of fun to do.
Yeah, I was looking at just browsing through the feed of all the elements of her cosplay, and I was like, okay, you put a lot of work into this.
It's so detailed.
It's detailed, yeah.
Which is like an artist's dream when they're working from someone else's material.
Yeah. So let's walk us through this. How is your approach different from say how Adam does these?
Well, most of the time Adam's behind me doing his thing, and I'm facing the other direction, so I don't really know what his process is like. But yeah, I generally start with the sketch, and I keep mine pretty rough. And once I'm pretty happy with proportions and larger details, then I start to go in and work on the lines. And often in that section, I'll kind of spend a bit more time getting things correct and more detailed, and yeah. So my sketches often look kind of crappy, but that's okay. The finished product's a lot more cleaner.
Well, they'll see that in, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes when
yeah.
it finally starts to really take its shape.
Yeah. Poor Adam had to put my video together. I think it was 23 different clips.
Oh, I guess because you stop recording
hours.
Every time you go for lunch or...
Well, yeah, and just in case anything happens when you're recording, it's better to do it in shorter 15-20 minute segments, so if it doesn't save properly, then you're not missing hours of work.
Fair enough. So how long did this take in total?
I think the drawing part of it took maybe a day and a half, or maybe 2 days. A day and a half. I stopped in the middle to do something else, and then the animations took probably 3 days. I don't know. It was a big project, this one.
Yeah. Certainly, there's more animations created for this champion than probably any 2 other champions. So
probably, yeah.
just because of the complicated. Well, actually, no. You explain it. Like, why was there more animation created for Strix than for other characters?
We wanted her ultimate to be really, really neat, so Justin designed it out and to make it really cool, and it uses the polymorph ability that Strix has on her staff. So when she uses her ultimate, that staff could turn into one of 3 different things, and so that involves making 3 extra versions of the character with the different items. So and I'm allowed to talk about this. So one is like the broom. So the staff morphs into the broom, and then she's got all her regular animations, but now she has to be on the broom as opposed to just holding the staff. Yeah.
Yeah, and do we want to spoil anymore? I don't know. There's 2 other ones that go with it. Somebody yesterday was asking why we didn't have owlbears in the game, and I'm like, well, first of all, there already is one.
Yes, there was one.
There was an owlbear boss early on, but now there's going to be more than one.
Yeah, there's going to be 2 owlbears.
Yeah.
So the second thing that the staff morphs into is the little owlbear plushie, which sort of summons Waffles, the owlbear, to attack in Strix's stead. So there's also some owlbear stuff going on with the animation.
Sweet. And then maybe we'll save the last one for players to see when they actually.
I think that's a good idea.
When they actually play it. But yes, a set of an ultimate that is more than one ultimate, essentially, that does more than one thing. So I'm pretty stoked about that.
Yeah.
What else can we talk about? We have some questions specifically for you, actually. So Moose Changer Pat, what sort of cool things do you work on drawing?
Well, lately I've gotten to do a few champions, which has been really, really fun. I do a lot of the backgrounds, so a lot of the backgrounds you see are me, and then sometimes I do some icons, and once in a while I get to do monsters. So yeah, I'm like probably, besides Adam, like I'm all over the place. A little less focused than a lot of the other.
Yeah, as opposed to Michelle, who's like, I draw monsters.
Yeah, she draws monsters. She's really good at it too, so it works so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Wendigo EJ. I really like Birdsong's animations. As a senior artist, do you draw each frame or just a base model and then other artists create the frames? I guess they want to have a better idea of what your the animation process is like.
So if you're looking at the video, you can kind of see like I'm just drawing her Strix's upper torso now. So all of the champions are kind of split up into those different pieces. So with the animation, I can just move those pieces around between like sort of key poses and then go in and make sure that they all link up nicely. Yeah, so there's a little bit of frame-by-frame drawing, but it's usually more with effects. So like if they're doing like some sort of like sparkly stuff or whatever, I'll go in and draw like each of those individual things separately. Yeah.
Let's see, what's this? Geosphere music. Any chance of the background's getting some sort of perspective? Like the floor is not being an exact top-down. Oh, okay, so just looking at the design style for the game.
Yeah, there's some... Like the way that the backgrounds scroll around, we can't have like a lot of perspective in it because then like the edges wouldn't line up very good. So we're sort of a little constrained in how, like, in what we can do for perspective. So we can put some in items in a little bit of like atmospheric perspective, but not like full on like 3-point or 2-point.
Yeah, I've noticed that like as we made it to Chult, like the backgrounds have had more depth to them in a lot of ways. Like you see the jungle layers, there's multiple rows of trees and other stuff, and then in the most recent variants there's like the beach and the shore and stuff. So they're getting a little more complicated. Yeah,
well, like, you know, as you draw more and more, you kind of figure out different tricks and things you can do to, you know, fudge the perspective a little bit.
All right, let's see, what do we got next? Alexis, do you play D&D, and if so, what class?
I do. I play in like our lunchtime game, and I play a bard character. She's a sad human bard.
Very sad.
She's so sad, but it's fun. And we do like a Thursday night game with Adam and Clive as well. And I play a monk, a drunk human monk, and yeah. Like
Drunken Master, like the tank sort of. Oh, cool.
Yeah, but she was really into the wine before that like even came out. So when it did, I was like, yes. Yeah.
Perfect. Shazos S. So art in this game is done in vector.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, because we only have the only illustration we have or something like an illustration, is the like complete adventure screen with the campfire. That was probably done in vector too.
It was, yeah. Michelle did that one.
Yeah. Okay. So everything's vector all the time. Mr. Cranky, what do you like to create in your off time?
I kind of like to do like little ink drawings. I draw a lot of animals, like really cute animals. So, but yeah, I don't know. Also, I'm kind of lazy in my off time, so I'm often just like on the couch being like, I should be drawing, and sometimes it happens.
And then, oh, here's a good one. Are there any Easter eggs in the backgrounds you can tell us about?
Yep, but maybe in the future. I guess I can stick that in my pocket for later.
So I guess we're just reaching the point where you're doing her owlbear feather cloak, and then the other layer. So it's like the arms. So when you're sketching this out, do you sketch the whole form first and then start doing each layer individually, or like?
Yeah, just sort of like, yeah, exactly what you said. Kind of sketch the whole picture and then like go in and get like what you can't really see unless she's moving around afterwards.
Okay. And I noticed she's in black and white.
Yes. So that's sort of something I picked up from Adam, and I think for him he might do it more for like contrast, but for me it's just to really make sure that I get the line width correct and like the lines looking nice before working on color. I don't do that so much when I'm working on backgrounds, just when I'm doing the character stuff.
Okay. And man hugs. Are you just using a default hard brush for this?
It's called a cartoon brush, and it's one that Adam made, and it's got a bit of pressure sensitivity to it.
Oh, so you made a brush for this. Okay, cool. Right on. And then Picator. Alexis, I have a daughter who loves to draw. Do you have any advice for budding artists?
Just keep drawing and draw things that you love to. Like when I was growing up, you know, I really liked to draw cartoony stuff, and I had a lot of art teachers tell me that like I needed to stop doing that and like try to do more realistic stuff, which is great too, because drawing the realistic stuff, you know, gives you a lot of knowledge about how things work and how things are built. But at the same time, like drawing cartoony stuff kind of ended up being my job. So yeah, just keep drawing, and you can really turn it into something you can do for a living if you're passionate about it. Okay.
And Mr. McCranky wants to know who your favorite character to create was so far.
Well, Strix. So much fun. Yeah.
Alrighty, let's see. Anthony Doerden. Oh, interesting last name. Do either of you play D&D online? If so, what are your main characters, classes, races? I don't. I play D&D on paper. Do you play DDO?
No, just on paper too.
No, we're the worst. We're the worst. Yeah. But I'd probably play whatever I'm currently playing. Like, I love playing a Warlock. It's awesome. It's a really fun one to play. Lots of them are fun to play, though. I mean, I can think of positive experiences for all classes. I don't even know. If there's a class that is currently overpowered that people are bitching about in the forums, that is the one I would pick. Because that's how I roll when I game online. I'm a jerk. Chomp the Spear. Can you please go on Reddit later, Alexis, and add a few links to, I don't know what it's called, Imager, of those cute little animals of yours? Oh, they just want to see more of your art.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, this is a much more interesting question. Leejet 2, what is it like to be a woman in this industry? Were there any major barriers to entry?
Well, my entire career has been here at Codename, and it's been pretty awesome. And I grew up in Victoria, where the company is based, and so I kind of finished school, came back here, and was like, I'm gonna have to move somewhere else to go get a job. And I'm like, oh, well, actually, I could stay in town. So, so luckily enough for me, I haven't really had to experience any of those things that that I've heard of. So I feel like I've been really fortunate to have picked like a really nice, welcoming company for, yeah.
That's a huge win.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, this one looks like just a comment from Big and really nice animation. You seem to do a really great job with Strix.
Oh, thank you.
And then Campbell 2401. What software is this?
This is all done in Illustrator, and then I did the animations in Animator, which I didn't record because watching people animate is actually kind of boring.
It's pain.
Yeah.
Actually, I've walked by it and been like, huh. But when somebody's actually drawing, it's like you just want to see, because like even though you can kind of predict how things are roughly going to go, you're like, oh, you're going to draw a head and shape and like probably sketch out like a rough skeleton before you do anything or whatever. So you can kind of predict it, but like you also can't. Like you're like, how are they going to do this?
Yeah.
And like it's something that's very interesting. So, Jesse Kig, is most of your work of this style, or do you dabble in other styles?
This is mostly just my work style, and then my personal styles. I don't know, kind of more like sketchy, cute, big eyes. I'm not really sure how to describe it. Yeah.
What are you doing with the line work in the video right now?
I'm just cleaning it up, so making it a little more clear so you can see those edges better from far away. So like if things are kind of lumpy and then you zoom out, it's not as readable as if it's like nice and clean and smooth.
Yeah. Okay. So how long does this, like, I mean, because obviously it's sped up, we can't really tell. How long does that take to put together?
Like to clean up the rope belt or something?
Yeah.
Oh, that didn't take too long, but it was very tedious work. Like doing those ropes, I was like, that was the worst part. Yeah.
Okay. Huh. So I guess then, like, if that was the hardest part, what was the easiest part?
Well, the most fun part was probably her face, hair, and hat. Yeah.
Is that why you started with them?
Yes. Well, also, that's the most important part. So once you kind of get that, everything else follows.
Yeah. I remember I can't remember if it was you or if it was somebody else who was mentioning that the back and forth over the skin tone went.
Oh,
trying to get it just right.
Yeah. So, they just took a few emails to get exactly right because it's important to get it true to character and stuff, and sometimes it's a little hard to tell from reference materials or like a photo as Holly dressed up as Strix. It's not going to have the same skin tone as like the actual character. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then I think I read something about how Strix as a tiefling, being from Sigil, and leans a little bit more style-wise to what tieflings were before when they were still considered plain touched. Yes. From second edition, I think, Planescape maybe. So they're just a little bit different than the current 5e generation of tieflings like Makos, where it's like it's really evident how demonic they are. So it's just like a little different. Yeah, cleaning up the hand right now. So I guess time-wise, like relative, say, Birdsong, like how long did it take to draw and animate Birdsong versus?
Probably drawing took about the same amount of time, maybe, because Birdsong was the first one I did, so I was like drawing very slowly, very carefully. But animating took way longer for Strix than Birdsong. I think Birdsong was like maybe half, or like maybe a full work day for animation, and yeah, Strix was multiple days.
Okay. Mr. McCranky wants to know if Holly has seen the finished character, and if so, what did she say?
She has. So we showed her the character several steps along the way. So we showed her the sketch when it was still pretty messy, and the black and white version, and then the color version, and she seemed really happy with it. So yay. Cool.
Aunt Podine says, great job on Strix. Must take a whole lot of patience to do this kind of work. Patience is not my virtue.
Yeah, well, the time kind of flies by, actually, and I listen to podcasts and things while I'm working, and, it's something I enjoy doing, so, yeah. Patience, yes, but also, it's just sort of, it's fun.
So when you switch over, because it seems like you're doing shading now.
Yes. Yeah.
So can you describe how you approach this?
Well, I usually just kind of block in a singular color, and then I can duplicate that layer, change it to like a shadow or a highlight, and then I sort of erase out whatever I don't need. Yeah.
And so you do this whole process in black and white, and then you switch it to different colors?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, at least for the champions.
Oh, so for backgrounds you don't do it that way?
No, backgrounds I just do in color. I think with the backgrounds, what you mostly see is color, because it's like big blocks of shapes and things. So
yeah. Okay. Huh. So out of all of these elements, because you got you had concept art for all of her equipment and or, well, I guess just like props and stuff. So like when you were putting this together, like where do you start? Like, did you draw anything on paper before starting this, or did you just start it in here?
No, I started directly in Illustrator. I just like kind of pulled up my references and then like went right to the sketch.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah. So now I'm starting to add in color here and. Pretty much just selecting all my like little different black and gray layers and changing them. And so yeah, this didn't end up being her final skin color. It's too peachy. Much too peachy.
yeah. It's kind of like this sort of like light pinky beige kind of weird.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure. I don't know what the color would be called for the shade that it ended up.
It's kind of like a mauve.
Yeah, it doesn't show up until the very end of the video and it just comes up.
Yeah, there's I'm not sure if it's in the video, but there's one color in between this and the final one where it's like kind of like a bluey gray too. So this one was too peachy, so I made it gray, and then it was too blue, and then it was perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know, it's sort of good to go through that process, and like it's just you hope you're not like taking up too much of anyone's time, being like, is this it? Is this it? Is this it? It's all right. So three is a good number.
Well, I mean, you're also reconciling with people's imaginations, but also like, you know, in this case, there's a person who plays this character every week, who has cosplayed the character, and who, you know, there's art references, so you know, they probably have a very definitive idea in their head. It's like, it's this color. They know what the color is. Yeah. Even if they can't tell you the Pantone swatch.
Yeah, and
like,
that's fine.
They know what it is. So when, like, I see along the side you have all these layers separated. Like, how are those split up?
That's split up into her different like body parts and clothing bits and stuff. So I can select all those layers at the end and paste them into Animator, and then it'll be all split up into the different pieces already.
Oh, okay. So then when you go to drag stuff around, each part is contained. Okay, cool. Silverbird wants to know if this was done with a stylus.
Yeah, it was done on a Cintiq tablet with a pen, so that's one of the drawing tablets that's a screen, so I'm like, it's like drawing on paper, but you're drawing on a computer. Yeah.
Okay. And then Jesse Kig wants to know what you're listening to when you're doing this kind of thing.
Lots of various different podcasts. I enjoy like fiction, so like short stories, like science fiction and horror and fantasy and stuff. And then I listen to, I like running, so I listen to running podcasts and yeah.
Running podcasts?
Yeah. People like to talk
I mean, I guess
running.
anything has a, but it's like.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess you can podcast about anything. I just never would have crossed my mind otherwise.
No. Podcasts on everything.
Yeah. It looks like we still have people joining the chat. Ant Musical wants to know how long this character took to create.
Probably like a day and a half to draw, and several, like, I can't remember, maybe 3 or 4 days to animate.
Yeah, and that looks like that's the final color there.
Yeah, that's the final one there.
Yeah. Huh. And that will be in game in ideally less than a week, but yeah, about a week.
Yep.
Yeah, it just auto plays. That's what it does. So.
I'll watch it again.
yeah. Let's start that over. Yeah, that's actually because I also in the other window on the other screen I have this all queued up for Kat to mess around. Unless you want to draw on it.
I'm good.
Yeah.
This is a good amount of time for my first stream.
Oh, right. Somebody's like, why Raven's Radiance? I'm like, what are you talking about? And I forgot that I named it on my thing today. Raven's Radiance is the name of our team in our Office D&D game. Our lunchtime Office D&D game, I should say, since there's another Office D&D game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like the party was appeasing my character somewhat, since he is extraordinarily devout to the Raven Queen and always mutters about other false gods, much to the chagrin of other players. So
yeah, and we have a cleric as well, so I think it's sort of split between the two and their deities.
Yeah. But yeah, Raven's Radiance. So that's the name of our current office team. We're having a parade thrown in our honor next week, sometime during our RPing. So that's it. But yeah, does anybody have any final questions related to Strix, the character being drawn, for Alexis before we let Alexis go and bring in our next artist? Give that a few seconds to sink in, because I think there's like an 8-second delay or 7-second delay. I don't know, it varies. But yeah, Mr. McCranky, are you going to show us Strix's battle animations? Not expecting it, but it would be cool. No, you'll have to wait for that. I think actually the first person to share any of the actual animations will be Holly at some point. Yeah, we're gonna most of it you'll have to wait until you unlock her to check out. Letters, numbers, letters would like to know, how do you pick the little detail colors like the?
Well, part of that is based off of like all of the reference that Holly had, and then the other half is just like trying to pick colors that would show up against all the other things. So, like against her sort of like purpley dress, like having something that doesn't blend too far into that. So sometimes I think a couple times in there I'd have a color and then go back and change it, because when I zoomed out I was like, no, it doesn't work at all.
Huh, that's interesting. So you're actually actively shrinking in.
Yeah, that's why I like go up and in and out and in. It's,
I was wondering that when I watched the video. I'm like, it's like just like cuts in and out really quickly in the time lapse. Okay.
Yeah, because sometimes something looks good and clear when it's like right up close as you're drawing all the details, and then you zoom out and you can't see anything. You're like, oops.
Cool. And then Thanatos asks, will you ever top this character?
I don't know. It's going to be a tough one.
Yeah. I know there's other characters that people really want, so I think that there's that level of personal connection to individual characters that's going to make it tougher for people, because yeah, I mean, if you watch either Dice Camera Action or Acquisitions Incorporated, you're probably a big fan of Strix. So. Yeah. All right, well, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
No worries. Yeah, you can tag out and tag in Kat on your way out the door, and Kat can join us and start talking about icons. Yeah.
Bye. Thank you.
All right. Yes. Thanks to Alexis. Woo! Yeah, I'll take those, because Kat's going to be grabbing them in a second anyways. I'm just going to, while this is happening, that's how you spell your name, right? I'm not messing that up?
Yes.
Okay. Is it still junior artist, or is it just artist?
Just artist.
Sweet.
I was a junior artist for years, and they wouldn't.
Yeah. Upgraded to an artist.
Yes.
Sweet. Yeah. So I have. I mean, this is still running in the background, but I have this up here for you.
Ah, yes.
And this file is on this computer, so you don't have to worry about messing anything up.
Okay.
So, because I thought it'd be cool to walk people through, and I'll just pull this up. I thought it would be cool to kind of go over the loot, the items, and then we can kind of just go from there. So yes, for those who may not know, this is Kat.
Hello.
Kat does our portraits. She does items. She does icons. She does
Monsters sometimes.
Sometimes monsters.
I did exactly one background now.
Oh, did you? Which one?
Yeah. The captain's cabin in the, I think it would have been the last event, Fleetswag.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, so actually we don't even really need to look at my characters going through anything. We can just dive right in, because, yeah.
Right.
Your stuff is here.
It is.
I can move this stuff over even a little bit. So
okay.
The tablet is kind of monstrous for the size of this desk.
It's a pretty big one.
Yeah.
Can I move the screen a little?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that was totally fine.
Okay.
Yeah. But maybe give everybody a little bit of an idea of what this is, and how this all comes together.
Sure. So obviously I did all the equipment for Strix. So this is what you will generally see as the equipment template, I guess, because there's always going to be, what is this, like 3 times 6?
18.
18. There's always 18 icons. I'm terrible at math. Because there's always 6 different pieces of equipment, and then there's the 3 different rarities.
Sorry, I was distracted. There's a hydration bot in the channel that's like, you've been on for an hour, you should drink some water. I'm like, what? Well, I'm like, but also, yes, I should. So
that's kind of cute. I've not seen that. I just saw a question, something about, I think the question was on this guy, this last one. That is just a little extra sketch because I wasn't super sure how far I wanted to take the epic staff.
Okay.
So that's not for anything. It was just a potential that didn't get used, basically.
Okay. So when we switch to the colored in ones, there isn't one for that?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, so usually for most characters, I'll do the rare first, and the rare is supposed to be like what they're wearing.
Yeah.
Or like when we do official magic items, because we've done a handful of them, then that's like the one that's in the book.
Okay.
And then the common and uncommon one is just kind of like simpler, or sometimes like ratty. Try to still make it look pretty cool. Because Strix is the trash witch, I got to actually grub stuff up, so that was pretty good.
It doesn't get shinier as it gets more epic.
No, not necessarily.
More stuff.
And so then obviously the epic has to take the rare and make it even better. So like fancier, shinier. Lots of times it's like just adding gilding and gems and stuff like that. But
okay.
Then again for Strix, that's very different because she doesn't strike me as like a gem kind of character. And I also worked pretty closely with Holly on this. Got all these sketches done and sent to her. And I don't think she had anything to say that wasn't positive. Just like, yes, it's great. Keep going, And sketches don't take terribly long. The pile of garbage, which is all the trinkets, definitely took the longest because it was just like...
They're all specific things.
They're all specific things. She gave me this huge list, which was really helpful. And so I have it down here. I'm sure you can't read any of it, but...
I can read it here, but there's no way our audience can.
No. I guess I can zoom in. But as an example, I just write notes. Can you hold control for me? Oh, no, not control. Alt, sorry. There we go. Thank you. Oh dear.
I could probably shift this chair over.
I think maybe. Even if just...
Oh, wait, no, never mind. This thing's in the way now.
If I can just do that, that'll work for me.
Sweet.
There we go. Sorry about that, guys.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, so because there were so many specific items for the trinkets, I made little notes of each item and then sort of organized them into groups of what I thought was like most interesting. So for like the common and uncommon ones, it was like what items are just sort of mundane and sort of meh, and then like for epic, what are the coolest items in my opinion. People can disagree. And then once I sketched them all, I think they should still be, each singular item here is just like it's grouped together into its own little thing.
Oh,
so once they were done, I could shift stuff around if I didn't like the layout. It's a lot like building a still life because there were so many of them.
Okay.
So this is what it ended up with, basically. And the Snickety Snooks, rather, was really interesting because even Holly was like, I don't know. They're cookies sometimes, and sometimes they're not cookies. It's just stuff that she finds in her robes that might be edible and might not be. So I was like, okay. So there's cookies and bread and teeth and dead bugs and little brown balls that could be chocolates or could be poo. Who knows? And that was basically just went away with that. It doesn't help to like try and look up unappetizing food on Google because even on Google it's like it still looks delicious.
Too much good photography.
Exactly. Yeah. I guess I will show. Yeah. I don't have all of them here because I sort of forgot halfway through, but these are what we call first pass examples because polishing takes a long time. So this is the just straight up drawn in Illustrator before doing all of that like line straightening that you would have seen in Alexis's video, because that takes a really long time. And this is the stuff that usually we'll send to Wizards for approval, so that then there's extra time to work on the actual polishing of stuff.
I'm curious, did they give any feedback on the piles of garbage?
I don't think Wizards has gotten back to us yet. Or at least if they have...
I guess GDC's going, they're probably...
Yeah, I'm sure they probably just said, like, yeah, it's fine, because I only basically know what they say if it's bad.
Oh.
I think Adam's the only one who actually
it's probably
gets
approved then.
The emails.
It's probably all good.
Yeah, there's only been a couple times
we could stamp a not necessarily final thing on this, but...
Yeah.
Close to final.
But, again, these were shown to Holly, and... Again, she didn't have anything to say that wasn't just, it's amazing, because Holly's great. So easy to work with. I know she was really happy about a lot of the trinkets because I referenced them right off of her cosplay, because as Alexis was saying, it's just so detailed. It's such a great reference to work off of. And if anybody else hasn't seen it, she did an interview with D&D Beyond a while ago. And they...
last year.
Yeah, they did a, not photo shoot because it was video, but I guess tiny video shoot with her outside. So there's a few, like, tracking shots and some close-ups and stuff that you can't find as just, like, photos.
Yeah.
So that was really helpful. Like, the little teacup, this little boy, that's exactly the teacup that she had on her...
It's hanging on her belt, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was like, oh, teacups can look like anything, and then it was right there, and it was a really good close-up of it. Perfect! And for her hat, for the epic one, I stuck some treats in there, because she mentioned at some point that that's also a place where Strix keeps treats.
Is there a place that she doesn't keep treats?
Probably not, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
And her cloak was a lot of fun, though... had a lot of took a lot of time because anything that has a lot of lines takes extra time in Illustrator. And then the last item is the jar of ashes of Stinky, or poor Stinky,
the cranium rat.
Yes.
We have a few questions here for you.
Yeah.
Let's see, one of them was how do you go about designing the different item stages?
Well, I kind of touched on this already, but taking, I guess, take the staff, for example, because it was so important, so iconic. You know, the rare version is what is based on the reference, so it's what she has in her cosplay and is what you'll see in most of the fan art that's accurate. Because along with her cosplay photos, she sent us a handful of art pieces done by different people that, you know, had some inconsistencies, so we had to be like, so I basically did it entirely off her cosplay, because obviously that's going to be the most accurate.
Okay.
And so for the staff, I actually asked Holly, because I was like, I'm not really sure, like, I don't want to tamper with it too much. And I asked about, like, the specific runes, and they do all have meanings. I don't know if she's, like, shared that before, so I don't want to, like, out something.
Yeah, I don't know
her.
if we can. I think that's up to her. Yeah.
But they do, and she sent me this nice little list, like, she had drawn on, like, charcoal on, like, a piece of paper, so it had, like, that tactile texture and stuff, which was pretty cool, and really hard to duplicate in Illustrator, because everything's all clean and vector.
Yeah.
Anyway, so one of my first ideas for the common and uncommon one was to remove some of the runes. Like, it was already going to be a smaller little crescent shape, but then, so it was like, okay, so maybe you gain some of these runes later, and this is like your training staff or something. And she's like, no, I think we've had all the runes from the beginning. I was like, okay, that's fine too. And so it was her suggestion, just be like, oh, you could just make it broken and dinged up. And I was like, sure, I can do that. So in my head, the idea is with the common and uncommon, these were just drawn with chalk, and then these are like painted in maybe some weird ichor.
Yeah.
And then the epic, like, it's cleaned up just to sort of have readability because it's an icon. And then try to do a weird sort of glow magic, because again, I didn't want to take it too far. Adding feathers because owlbear, and that was about it. For the rest of the stuff, is basically, like I said, I just have the rare one, the middle one, as the default, and then I bang it up or take stuff off, and then for the epic, I add stuff on. So like, you know, owlbear cloak, this is basically what it looks like in her cosplay. In this, I removed a layer of feathers, and it's all patchy. And then this has more feathers, and it has like an attached scarf and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
The little urn for Stinky's ashes is something I made up completely, and it's just like, I looked up tiny black pots, and then I was like, she's a witch. Cauldrons. Yeah, I think that covers that.
Cool. Let's see. We got a few of these that are totally out of context because of how far we've gone through.
Yeah.
A gem. Strix often says she doesn't understand money.
Yeah.
Kitty kitty big butt. Okay, what is an example of something that Wizards of the Coast rejected?
There hasn't been...
Which we should totally talk about on the Wizards of the Coast stream.
There hasn't been
it's
many.
fine.
The only one I can think of, I talked about the last time I was on stream, but it was just one portrait of a character who I had done as like a half-elf drow, and the way that he spoke and acted in the adventure, they didn't want that to be a drow, so had to change his skin color.
There was one of the red wizards had to change from an elf to a human or something like that too, right?
Yeah, there was that.
Yeah.
Because they're mostly human.
I'm always impressed by the level of detail they go into with that kind of stuff too. Their feedback is always like...
the very beginning, the first set of portraits, they had very specific feedback on the ears for elves and half-elves versus humans. And they actually gave us this little... It's just like a pencil sketch or something that one of their concept artists must have done, that has like human ear and eye, and then a half-elf ear and eye, and then an elf ear and eye. And they have very specific, subtle differences. That they apparently want to make as like a, I don't know, part of their brand or whatever, you know, a consistent thing.
Yeah.
But they don't seem to be super public about it, so I don't know.
Yeah, it might just be an internal design reference that they just make everybody adhere to as much as possible.
And even then, like, you know, you flip through any of the illustrations in the books, and obviously there are tons of different artists, so there's tons of different interpretations, which makes our job harder. But in general, they're really good about it, because like I said, I only know if something goes wrong, and that's only happened a couple times.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Narpar says that the common uncommon staff looks like a black bandana.
A banana, even.
Oh, banana. Wow. Yeah, there's no D in that. Banana.
Yeah, it's pretty banana shaped.
Oh yeah.
That's okay.
I didn't really think about that. Thanks, Narpar. Kadoriel, any references of waffles in the game or artwork?
Waffles the owlbear, or Waffles the food? Because as an owlbear, he's around. You'll see him.
Yeah.
No waffle foods.
Yeah. I was thinking about that. I was like, how come our event token is a waffle? I'm like, wait, do waffles exist in Faerun?
According to Chris Perkins, they do? Is that good enough?
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
Alrighty. Silisa, trash should have some old waffles in it, IMO.
Yeah. That occurs to me now that people are talking about waffles. But
the bread has a spider. Or is it a cookie with a spider?
It's a cookie with a spider. The bread has mold and also bones.
That's so gross.
I had so much fun.
Love the bones sticking out of it. That's vile.
Yeah. And what's this gray sludge? I have no idea.
Yeah, just stuff. Just random things.
It could have. I could have been done, especially since Strix does bake.
Yeah. Well, she's an accomplished baker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All I can say is my bad. I didn't think of it. I forgot. I hadn't really watched Dice Camera Action until more or less now.
Are you watching it now?
I started, but because they're also doing Curse of Strahd, I don't really want to watch a ton of it. So
okay.
I basically got to episode 6, and I'm like, they're like where we are.
Okay, so you haven't watched episode 85 or 86 that was earlier this week. Okay.
No.
Because that was the most emotionally devastating 2 hours I've watched of anything in a long time.
I have heard.
Yeah.
But
it was epic and incredible, but I was like, wow, that is a lot of emotion to process for a D&D show.
I mean, Critical Role has gotten pretty emotional several times.
Sure. Yep. Absolutely.
But, yeah.
Anytime they have good characterizations and the characters are amazing and you're close to them and you've watched them a lot and so on and so forth. Yeah. Okay. just looking at the items here, because I don't know how many people in the in our audience know specifically where a lot of these items come from. But you can probably give a little bit more background to them than I can.
Like the trinket specifically?
Yeah, like, well, I mean, there's the teacup that was hanging off her belt, but like the shears that she had in her like little sheath.
Yeah.
In her costume.
So basically, she sent us her actual character sheet, both for like stats and because there was this like
is it
paragraph.
The current one, or is it one? Because I've seen like 3 of them.
I don't know. It was whatever one was included in the doc I was given.
Sweet. Okay.
Basically, it had this whole paragraph of all these items that Strix has just collected and kept. So, as I said earlier, I split them up just in like visual interest. They're not split up in any sort of like timeline or any other information that I have, because I don't. But I can tell you that the teacup is supposed to be a teacup from a child's set, so it's especially small. Those are 3 desiccated goblin fingers, which means they're like not quite mummified, but they're sapped of moist.
Dehydrated?
Yeah, that's a better way of putting it.
Gross.
And big iron scissors. The pouch was, I think, revenant dust. And this is a varnished basilisk eye.
Oh.
This is a music box that plays an elven tune. This is just a copper pentacle amulet. This is an interesting one. It's a small worn book of Barovian nursery rhymes.
Right. Yep.
So that was pretty interesting. Since it's so small, I just did a really sort of quick and... So you can kind of see, I did this little thing that no one's ever going to see except for right now.
Yeah. I never caught that. That's somebody skipping down a trail into the forest.
Yeah.
Of doom, because it's Barovia.
Yeah.
And all things suck.
And then this cloth on the top is a executioner's hood.
Oh.
Because that was in the list.
Cool.
And these last ones that I think were some of the most interesting. A jar of pickled ghoul tongues.
Yeah, tongues.
A mummified raven's claw. This is, I think, just ghostly ectoplasm. A vial of. This is a spinning top that has 4 faces carved into it. It was happy, sad, dead, and I think mad. So I went with a happy and sad ones. And the black pipe, the smoke is in the shape of skulls when you smoke it. And the little nails...
Sweet, I want one of those.
I know.
I don't even smoke, but...
the nails are from a vampire's coffin, and they're mostly just there to sort of bring it together as like a still life idea.
Yeah.
And I did watch the very beginning of the latest Dice Camera Action because Strix was like announcing Strix coming to... Holly was announcing Strix coming to the game. And I know
it's easy to get those 2 names mixed up.
Yeah, they're the same person.
Holly is Strix. Yeah.
But I stuck around long enough to notice that they were sort of going through all their items, and Holly read off the whole list that I was given. So there were a couple things I think that I didn't use, but I don't really remember what they would have been. I tried to include basically everything.
It was an extensive list, though.
Yes, those took so long. Mostly just the line tightening and stuff. Drawing is one thing. All the illustrator nonsense is, it's required. That's what it is.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think about it, like, because there's such a breadth of stuff here. Can you bring up the notes that you had at the bottom? Because there's so much stuff. Stickety snooks.
So we have the 3 desiccated goblin fingers.
Oh yeah.
Large iron scissors, teacup, pouch of revenant dust. See, there was a other sketch for Stinky's ashes. Because that was one that I found online, and it just looks kind of dumb from that angle, I thought. So, tiny music box, the copper amulet, executioner's hood, vial of ectoplasm, the book, burnished basilisk eye, spinning top with carved faces, jar of pickled ghoul tongues, mummified raven's claw, 6 coffin nails, and the black wooden pipe.
Yeah.
It looks like there wasn't anything else, or I deleted it.
Okay.
But I usually don't.
Looks like some people are asking about when Strix is going to be in the game, so I should probably answer that question.
Yes.
So starting next week, we will be running our next event that I probably can't name, but Keen Eyes will have figured it out because there have been hints dropped in a couple places. Because I like doing that and just seeing how on the game the audience is, because sometimes they're really on it, sometimes they miss it. So there'll be an event starting next week in which you can unlock Strix as part of the opening adventure, and then you'll have a couple weeks to unlock and gear her up. And then following that, we've had a lot of requests for ways to unlock event champions outside of events in the game, and what I can say about that is that a way to do so has rocketed up our priority list and is something that we're pushing for much sooner rather than later. So we can't give a definitive date on it, but people who join in a month and are wondering how to get Strix will probably have an answer, hopefully, about that. So yeah, almost told it, maybe. Yeah. Oh, and Nanive wants to know if you only draw an Illustrator or if you also draw 3D.
For work, it's just an Illustrator. Very occasionally we'll do something in Photoshop, but that's just like banner stuff mostly.
Yeah.
I don't know how one would draw 3D necessarily, but much like Alexis, you know, I draw in my own time. I have my own style. I have worked in an actual 3D program a couple months, maybe more like a year ago. I was just sort of teaching myself Blender, just sort of because. So I have a single character model, an actual finished model of one of my characters.
Oh, is it your warlock with the...
No, it's a character from like high school.
Oh, okay.
He's sort of become mascot-like. He's the one that I use as my icon for like Twitter and all my social media and stuff.
Oh, the art monkey, the icon.
He's a little beastie guy. I just call him Muse.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know, what do you want to do now? You want to draw something?
I could draw something. I don't know what I would draw. I could, I guess, do sort of a quick and dirty portrait of Strix.
Yeah, let's do that. That'll be fun.
Okay.
You know, not necessarily for the game.
No.
Just to emphasize that now.
No.
Because it would, you know, yeah, things. But, yeah. You can close this if you want. Do something else. I don't know.
Well, okay. I guess we'll do the audience. I could do a portrait of Strix in Illustrator in the game style, would not be going into the game. Or I could draw in Photoshop, which is my preference, do something in my style. I could do Strix in my style. I could do my own D&D character. I figure Strix will be popular, but...
Yeah. Give that a minute. It takes a 10-second delay, so...
So, basically...
Get a drink.
Strix, unknown OC, an Illustrator, or Photoshop. Put in your votes. Oh, they want to see my style.
Oh, all right. I don't have Photoshop open, so hopefully that doesn't crash the stream opening it.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. No, it's fine. It's fine. We'll do it.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll do that. Well, we'll just talk while it may or may not.
All right.
Actually, you know what I'll do is I'll switch this to the... temporarily switch to that while we're...
There's a question I can babble on about.
Excellent.
Oh, no, you covered it.
Just a second. Let the characters just keep marching through.
What art projects related to this game or otherwise have I really enjoyed recently? I always really like doing the portraits for this game. It's probably my favorite thing. Like, I've just done so many equipment icons now, they get kind of boring. Strixes were really interesting because they were really different. Should close Illustrator, actually.
Just wait and don't touch anything while this is going, because it's going to pop the CPU level so high that the stream will struggle. That's why I had it open before you came in. So
that's true.
Wait for it to come open, and then we can close something, and we can hope that it doesn't crash the stream.
Okay.
Because everything going through one computer is the way to go, everybody. Let me tell you.
Sorry.
Yeah. So how are we doing now? It's back down. Yeah, because it struggles. Because this is not a beast machine, let me tell you.
The streaming machine is adequate for streaming. Yeah. These guys appear to still be going, so here we are.
Yeah. Okay.
What's all the motorcycle pictures? Is that Dave?
I have no idea.
In retrospect, I'm really glad there wasn't anything especially weird there, because sometimes that happens. And you're like, ah!
That would have been interesting.
Yeah.
Can you click? That looks fine on just custom.
Custom?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a weird. I can fix that.
Yeah, it's never been booted on
great.
this machine before, so it's kind of
That's fine.
random.
Everything's fine.
Yeah, I do need a big core rise in Zoot C. Yeah, the streaming computer, the setup, it's not to complain about it actually, because it's awesome. But ideally, you don't have the same machine streaming everything out that you're piping all the visual data out from. Like, it'd be nice if our visual setup was getting piped to a producing machine that was doing the XSplit and the upload.
It would be nice.
Separating those two things, I wouldn't have to worry about loading Photoshop and crashing the stream. So,
well, it succeeded. You're doing very well, little computer.
Yeah. I think
can
I
you
can. I think
drag
I can.
that over to the screen, please?
Oh yeah, why is it there?
I don't know. That's fine.
There's another one here too.
Oh yeah. I don't actually need that one, but that's okay.
All right.
Okay. So I sort of started answering that question. Yeah, I really like doing the portraits. I just find them a lot of fun. So anytime I get to do a bunch of portraits is usually good. And on my own time, I've been... This is so weird, but that's good enough. On my own time, I've been trying desperately to start up a comic, actually.
Oh.
Much like Alexis, it can be really hard to find time and energy especially at home to work on your own stuff. So I haven't got super far on it, but I've got some layouts, and I was starting some doodling on the on a potential cover last weekend.
Cool.
Let's go for
Before you get going, can I do one thing?
Yes.
I need to do this so I can actually see if something comes in.
Yeah.
These two.
Just in case.
Done. Yeah.
So to be clear, Kat is drawing Wolfgar on a motorcycle. Of course. I have no idea who that is.
Wolfgar is one of
Yeah.
two more companions of the
I kind of know. I just don't know what he looks like.
He looks like he looks Norse.
Yeah.
Norse as hell. I was gonna say Norse AF. Covered in furs, badass barbarian dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he will eventually be in the game.
Eventually.
Oh yeah, I have no idea where he is. I only know what the next 3 characters are, and he's not one of them.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody. But I imagine the next 3 characters will make our fans really, really happy, including Strix.
Always want the fans to be happy.
Yes.
So, disclaimer, because we have so much stuff up, we can't also have a reference of Strix, really. So this is sort of going to be off memory. But that's probably fine. Strix on motorcycle. No! Motorcycles are too hard.
You could give her broom handles like those fancy ones in Harry Potter.
Okay. I suddenly have an idea.
Yeah. While you're starting that, Gillian would love to know what your comic is going to be about.
So I have a whole ton of so silly, a whole ton of ideas, universes, characters, etc. But a lot of trouble starting anything. The creator's dilemma of it has to be perfect, so it's never going to be started. So what I'm doing as something of an experiment for myself is I'm making a comic out of a campaign of Dread that I played with some friends last summer. So it's going to be a relatively short horror comic. with 7 characters, including the one the DM played. It's pretty mostly generic, like horror movie. They go into the woods and bad things happen.
Yeah.
But you know, hoping to do some interesting things, and it's really more about me learning and stuff. Yeah. The hopeful plan is to sort of do it as a webcomic, because that would be cool, and it would hopefully help me to actually like keep it up.
Yeah.
So far I've got the first chapter and a half ish done out in layouts, and like I said, starting with the dabbling with something that could be a cover. Thanks for the interest.
Strix on Firebolt. Let's not cross any IP lines here. Too much. Yeah. Still, we have a fair number of people in here checking this out. It's cool. Welcome.
Yeah. What's up?
Loose sketch layer.
Yeah. Also, if anybody's wondering, there's no real reason that I'm sketching in blue. It's just sort of a habit.
Did you used to sketch with those blue pencils?
I did
paper?
for a while. Wow. Is that the monitor? Or is that something in Photoshop? See how there's like huge halos around every line?
I can't tell, honestly.
Okay. That's fine. Am I using a weird brush? I was using a weird brush. That's fine.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. And that wasn't even turned on. Wow. Okay, now things are correct. I see somebody asking if I'm writing my comic as well. Kind of, mostly. As I said, it's based on a campaign that has been played already to completion. So I've got like basically the framework is going to be that, and then I'm actually writing the characters and the actual like dialogue and stuff like that for sure.
Sorry, my phone keeps buzzing.
No worries.
I want to check what's going on here. Nothing's on fire, right? This isn't a message like your friend was run over. Oh, yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. No, the typical buzzes.
That's good.
Cool. Yeah, you gotta make sure you capture that the anxiety.
Oh yes.
The anxiety of Strix.
The panic face. Yeah. Especially on a weird broom.
Yeah. What are people talking about in chat? I don't mean to be ignoring everybody. It's just
You're transfixed.
that end I prefer for my guests to feel like they have my attention.
Yeah, it's nice.
So,
but you're free to ignore me while I'm drawing.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Deadpool on a broomsicle. I'm not going to do Deadpool.
No.
I know that trailer came out this morning, but
this is still a D&D channel.
Yeah.
We are still supposed to be talking
Lauren
about
just
D&D.
posted the little owlbear with the "I want to play" sign.
Aw.
Anyways, people are appreciating having you doing this.
Aw, no problem. I used to stream my own art from home. Again, I talked about this the last time I was on this stream. Haven't done so in a long time, and it's nice to do, but like, you know, I'm just some nobody on the internet. I don't have like an audience, so I haven't gotten back to it or anything.
That might be a good thing for us to do through our channel sometimes.
I'd be down, probably. I know Clive, the nice guy that he is, was really hoping that Holly tweeting the equipment icons and tagging me was going to get me a ton of more followers. And, you know, to be fair, I've gotten 10 more since she posted that, so that's not an insignificant number.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. think your fans are pretty stoked to see that this is coming to life in something, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Mars of the Manor. Update on your own D&D adventures. How's that gnome going?
Oh, yeah.
No.
I guess you can talk about that while I'm drawing.
Okay, so I'm not going to speak about my Tomb of Annihilation adventure because it's been a very busy couple months for my group of friends, and we're actually playing for the first time in 4 weeks this coming weekend.
Yeah.
Although
Life
we're
gets
planning
in
a
the way.
pretty epic, like, it's going to be like an all-day, like, barbecue, hangout, and then dinner, kind of just like
That sounds really
you know,
cool.
Yeah, gonna D&D and eat and maybe drink whiskey all day.
Mm-hmm.
But the Office game is moving along at a pretty decent clip. You know, we tend to get like 2-3 hours in a week.
Yeah.
Which is pretty, considering it's every week. It's actually more consistent than most of the D&D groups I've ever been in my life. As you can see from below my name on the stream thing there, I can't wait. No, it's right there. No, how do I point at that from where I'm sitting?
I don't know.
We have decided to call ourselves Raven's Radiance to appease both my character's undying devotion to his goddess, and then also Kat's character's devotion to her goddess as well, or her god.
And I think mostly so that we're not just like Dark Ravens and people keep saying that we're part of Strahd's minions.
Yeah. Especially with a Shadar-kai in Barovia, since
Yeah.
they're already kind of racist towards non-humans, and then like there's a water genasi and a very creepy looking elf.
Yeah. We're not the favorites of the townspeople.
Yeah. We just battled and successfully killed vampire spawns for the first time because we got totally shit kicked the first time we did it.
Yeah, but now we're level 5, and
Yeah.
both I and the gnome druid Clive is playing have daylight. So
Yeah.
suck it.
Daylight OP against vampires and vampire spawn.
Yeah. To the point that Adam kind of Deus Ex Machina'd mine away, and then Clive casted his, and Adam was like,
All right.
I forgot you took that.
Yeah. And so, we've made it to Vallaki. We dropped off Irina with the priest, thinking that she's safe, and she's totally not. We're like just trying to find some missing people right now. We just kind of like got settled for the first time and have become like an actual team for the first time. Although I would argue that we were starting to become one pretty well when we decided to scale that 1,000-foot cliff and somehow nobody died.
It was the best decision.
Yeah.
We saved 2 hours that we then used to sleep.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking to myself, I'm like, if we just walked around, it would have been taken just as much time. But it was still that was a lot of fun, and it's been going good. It's we reached the point where we kind of like sold off some junk we picked up and have a little bit of money, and we're just starting to get ourselves sorted and looking at formulating some real plans to move forward with the campaign. So it's a fun spot to be in a campaign. Like we can still go in a million different directions, and we all have different goals and other things that we're trying to accomplish, but we're doing so a little bit more as a cohesive unit. And I mean, certainly my character is extremely slow to like people, but is starting to have a group of friends for the first time in the material plane since
Ever?
I mean, depending on what lore you go by, the Shadar-kai have been different things, from weird, creepy elves that are just in the Shadowfell for no reason to, harkening back to when the elves with the whole Corellan lull split and all that stuff that happened back in the day. And so, he doesn't have friends on the material plane until now, so that's new, and we're just kind of, it's gonna be cool. Wing Envy, you won't need gems to purchase Strix when the event starts next week. You can just start the event and unlock her. It will probably be pretty easy. Although I don't know which slot she will be in the formation, so if you're a new player, it might be easier, more difficult, depending. I'm not quite sure.
Well, it won't be Arcane slot, at least.
Yes, we just used that one, so it's definitely not going to be slot 12. But yeah, I know that I've looked at and seen what slot it was once before, but I don't know that anything is final, so I don't want to get into it and have to walk that statement back.
Nothing is final until live.
Yeah. but certainly the intention is to, release another champion that uses a slot that hasn't already had a swap, just to give players more options. So, yeah, I'm totally getting a Kiki's Delivery Service vibe all of a sudden.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, our office campaign is going good, and I think alignment-wise, everybody's leaning a little bit more good than we were at the start when we were a little bit more chaotic. So.
Oh, I am lawful good.
Yeah.
So.
And I totally forgot that Shadar-kai as elves have like a resistance to charm, and I didn't roll with advantage against that note that possessed my guy when I froze Peter and dragged him into the carriage with me and all that stuff. I was just,
That was a good little event, though.
It was funny. Yeah.
I felt that was pretty team building.
Yeah. Just like whoa.
Knocking over the carriage and had to jump up and grab you guys out.
Accidentally murdered a horse.
Oh man.
It's meant to clip it, but it stumbled off a cliff.
Yeah.
So that was brutal. Yeah. Yeah. But it's been interesting. It's gonna blow wide open over the next little bit here, I think, as we start directing ourselves. The person throwing a parade for us clearly has ulterior motives, and but luckily they don't know about all of our party. They've only met 3 of us, so out of the 5, so we can have our rogue out roguing while we're otherwise engaged. So yeah, lots of really interesting stuff. I'm pretty stoked about it. Looking forward to it. But we're not playing any more games this week because Clive is taking some much deserved and needed time off after manning the Capital City Comic-Con booth for the entirety of last weekend.
Oh my god.
Because I only did that for Sunday and it was exhausting, and he was there for all of Sunday, all of Saturday, and all of Friday.
Yep.
So yeah. Okay, so like, what made you decide what kind of handlebars to use here? I'm just like
vaguely motorcycle-esque.
Okay.
I don't know a lot about motorcycles.
That's all right. I'm just curious.
In fact, motorcycles is something I'm going to have to get okay at drawing for the comic, because one of the characters has a motorcycle, and it comes into play a couple times, actually. So, I'll be better in a couple months' time or something, maybe.
Yeah. Megisa, Shadar-kai is an elf from the Shadowfell. And so there's a wonderful video of, I can't remember if it was Mike Merles or Jeremy Crawford on D&D Beyond recently talking about the Shadar-kai, but there's a series of videos about the Shadar-kai and the Raven Queen. And there's also more videos about the elves, and so you can get into the lore behind Corellin, who created the elves, and then created other deities for the elves, and then Lolth and the split with the elves and all that stuff, and the Shadar-kai being banished to the Shadowfell with the Raven Queen. So, yeah, Giant Dwarf is right. They reside in the Shadowfell and they pay homage to the Raven Queen. And as I understand it, there's going to be quite a bit more about that in Mordenkainen and Stone of Foes. So, yeah, you can get the preview. Oh yeah, Lauren just linked it in chat. There you go. You can get the preview there, and then probably like many pages more whenever the book comes out. Yeah, sounds like it's going to be a lore-heavy book based on, they keep talking about the Blood War and a bunch of other things in the preview videos and on Dragon Plus and on just all kinds of stuff. So, yeah. Cool. Tons of info coming. So, yeah, my character is one of those emo elves. I didn't know about it from the book, though. I picked it from Unearthed Arcana when I was concepting my character because I'm like, okay, I was trying to think of a way to fit all the pieces together, and the Raven Queen seemed like an interesting patron, and Shadar-kai seemed like, I'm like, okay, this elf would make a lot of sense for this patron, and tying it all in with the Hexblade subclass, and that's how all that came together for me.
Cool.
Yeah. This is sweet.
Thank you. It feels good to sketch something that I don't have to all the rigorous illustrator mumbo jumbo.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, and what's the date for Mordenkainen and Stone of Foes is May 30? 29? End of May. End of May it's coming out, which is actually not that far away. We're approaching the end of March. This year's flying fast. Getting old. All right.
Time.
Mortality.
What is time?
Things are awful. Yeah. And then yeah, so Kat's playing a water genasi sailor cleric, who is by far the toughest character in our group.
I rolled really well on stats.
Yeah,
For
has great stats. And then Clive is like the opposite in a like hilariously weak druid.
So sad.
So many minuses to his rolls, which is great. Oh, and our bear assault was the best thing ever. Because yeah, I'm gonna story time.
All right. Just before you do, Montius Maximus.
There's a question. Sorry.
Yes, I'm using a stylus. There we go. There we go. A tablet pen. It looks like, I'm not quite sure, but it's equivalent to an Intuos 4 by Wacom. So that's why it looks like, that's why I'm able to do this. I couldn't do this with a mouse. Anyway, go right ahead.
No. There's another one here. Mars of the Manor wants to know if you've considered doing Let's Draw streams. People watch those. You have a cool style, and this Strix looks great so far.
Oh, thank you. I have. It's for me. It's about like having the energy and time and consistency. And you know, there's a little bit of like anxiety and doubt and whatnot. And as I said, I don't really have a ton of an audience, and that's never encouraging. But I'll think about it. If you guys are especially interested, I would be down to organize something maybe on the Discord or whatever, to be like, this Saturday, or, you know, something like that. But thank you so much for the encouragement.
So yeah, story time. Because Clive is still getting into the groove of being a druid. And we're just like, be a bear, man. Be a bear. Bears are sweet. Be a bear. Like, just not even subtly encouraging him. Like, just basically trying to pressure him. Like, dude, be a bear. Bears are sweet. And we're in Vallaki exploring a house, and we fought and killed one vampire spawn. And then, like, we descended into the basement and found a room with several of them in it. And a bunch of, beautiful, scantily clad women, thralls.
Thankfully, our thief was able to look at without getting detected.
Yeah,
that was very important.
Was able to get the lay of the room, and then we had an ambush round because we rolled well enough, and our gnome bashed in that door as a bear, charged in the room while it was you casting daylight at the same time. So, this mini sun appears in the room, which vampires don't like, as a bear charges in and starts mauling the first one, and then our rogue Afard, played by Peter, and myself charged one vampire spawn because we recognized him, because it was a jerk who like totally tore me apart the last time we saw him.
And got away.
And like totally revenge murdered him, and then Alexis barded everybody. With some pretty darn good rolls on a lot of her spells, it seemed.
Though she did kill an innocent woman.
Accidentally murdered an innocent woman, but we were then able to resurrect after the combat ended.
Yeah, I had Revivify, so. And
then, even funnier was after all this combat mess played out, when we open the door and find a guy who's like casting a teleport rune. I guess he rolled poorly because like he panicked as we ran in and like slid through the rune and blew himself up, telefragged himself all over Peter.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
But that was a satisfying ambush. When a plan comes together and actually works, which just never happens.
Yeah.
That was great. It was a good time. Alexis' character Morgana is a lore bard, so she's got some spells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes good use of Dissonant Whispers, which is a very good spell.
Yeah, that's a spell that scales well and isn't resisted very frequently.
Yeah, it's besides like Eldritch Blast, it's the one I use most with my Warlock in my other campaign.
Yeah.
And Blight, just because I really like Blight.
Nothing compares to Eldritch Blast, though.
Basically. And we just hit level 11, so the next time I attacked, I was like, I get 3 beams.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Triple hex hit, or whatever.
I don't actually use hex, but...
No?
No.
It's my bread and butter. I love it. Especially once you hit a high enough level that it lasts for an hour or longer, because then you can just make sure that it's on everybody you're hitting. Just about. Yeah. Stoked. Mars the Manor wants to know if we do any house rules. There are a few house rules. Adam has made our vampires and undead more resistant to things like fear because they're dead and not afraid. Also it's Barovia. Yeah.
And our long rests are only 3 hours, which is super kind.
Yeah, so that we can actually cast spells and so the combat can be a little bit more active. Which I don't mind that at all. I like it.
Holly! I'm glad you like it.
Yeah. Hi, Holly. Yeah, this is Strix riding a broom cycle.
Something like that.
I don't know. Some kind of broom something or other. Not for official use in the game, obviously, but no. Just for fun for the stream.
Just for funsies.
Yeah. I think somewhere around now the last of our giveaways is about to start too, because it's 2:50. So yes, before the chat explodes, I'm not sure exactly what this one is for because we spec out the lists of our giveaways and we kind of randomize them each week. So good luck to whomever. Naeli DLC. So it's the premier DLC pack. It's the only giant one for Bay Ellie, as people call her. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so there goes chat.
Goodbye.
We're just trucking away on our kick-ass. It's kind of like a light bulb at the front, right?
Yeah.
You got a lantern hanging off it.
I just want to try and block this out before we're done, so it can, be more or less a sketch.
That's sweet.
Thanks.
Yeah. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to, on my phone, check to see who's on next, because we were running a couple minutes over our time this time, just to get this into a slightly more complete state. Because we usually wrap up at 2:55, just to be sure, but I think that there isn't anything on until 4 today.
Okay.
Perhaps...
Unfortunately, can't stay and play too long. I have to go do real work, too.
If Bart or somebody is in chat, perhaps you can let me know if we will impede on anybody's time if we go a few minutes over today or not. I'm pretty sure. Oh god, I almost started humming the music again to myself. Idle Champions at 1, Waffle Talk at 4, Trapped a Birdcage at 5, Critical Role at 7. So no, we don't have anything on for a bit, so we can go a little bit over.
All right. Just
to get this to a little bit further along before we wrap this up. Thank you. Thanks. Waffle Talk, then Trapped in a Birdcage. I'm still not Trapped in a Birdcage. The characters are crazy.
I haven't looked at it yet. I should go find the first episode.
Yeah, well, we're like 2 or 3 episodes in, so it's much easier one to catch up on than, for example, 86 episodes of Dice Camera Action. Or
that's fair. I mean, I did go through all the episodes of Critical Role when I was more than 80 behind.
Wow. I couldn't bring myself to do it. I was like, that's too many to watch.
It was so good. It was so worth it. I was so glad. It helps that I have a couple friends that are like extremely into it. When they started the second campaign, we had a sort of like viewing party thing.
Nice.
They made homemade mac and cheese and invited us over. It was really cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, watching it these days is like Thursday night is our stay home date night.
Oh yeah.
Where we like often order out and we just like we watch Critical Role and draw and roll D&D characters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Monstrous Maximus 89. DC8 is emotional. Yes, it is.
I've been hearing as such.
It's amazing. Yeah.
I mean, that just means that people are invested and involved, and all those are great things. So
yeah. I feel like
I'm all for emotional shows.
Yeah, I feel like in his spare time, Chris Perkins practices like where to twist daggers and things. Like maybe at this angle, it's it's just it seems that way because you're just like the feels, and then he's like, oh, and also this, and you're like, ah, So yeah, yeah, cool. Yeah, there we go. Holly agrees. He knows. Yeah. Oh, clouds.
Yeah. It's supposed to be broom smoke.
Yeah. Definitely share this on your social after.
I will. I'll make sure to save this and like email it to myself, and I might even get back to it at home or something.
Yeah. Commander Holly, he knows what makes all of us the most upset.
That's the problem. Once your DM starts to get to know who you are, then they can just...
Especially when your DM, off the top of his head, knows literally everything about the game.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to pull this obscure thing out of the ether and ruin you with it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
There's poor Strix writing some kind of motorcycle broom abomination.
Yeah.
Not having a good time.
Awesome. Well, yeah, that's a great way to bring us to the end of our show this week. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
Thanks to Alexis for joining us.
I'm always happy to come on stream.
Yeah. Thanks so much to Holly for being Strix and for allowing us to have Strix in the game. And you will be able to unlock Strix next week when the event starts, with more info to share on that starting next week. But yes, thank you for joining us. Thanks to D&D and Wizards of the Coast and the amazing, awesome team there who are so tirelessly dedicated to this amazing game, for hosting us here.
Thank all you guys out there in the audience for being so supportive and excited about my art. This feels really great.
Yeah, and stay tuned. I mean, don't turn this channel off today because it's Waffle Talk, then Trapped in the Birdcage, and then Critical Role. So nothing but good stuff from here on out.
All very exciting.
Yeah, have a fantastic day, and we will catch you next week.
Yeah, bye.
Where'd the mouse go? Oh, there it is.
I stole it.